What does it mean to be mosquitoed? Well, I'm going to tell you. Summer is in full swing here in Michigan, and many of us cannot wait to get to the great outdoors. With recent stormy weather has come the breeding habitat for many flying vermin. And going out into the woods now, the ears are accosted by a not popular refrain, and that being the droning of what sounds like billions of mosquitoes just waiting to sink their stingers into your flesh so that they can partake of your life-sustaining fluids. Mosquitoes have a place, though not a favorable one, in my memories of childhood, probably as with most of you. Their sting always left an immense welt on me, which got hot and even oftentimes got infected. Bringing out the calamine lotion, which seemed to seldom work more than a couple of minutes, I knew that I was in for a long spat of itching. But somehow, Mom telling me to stop scratching just never really seemed to work. It was sort of like giving a dog a bone to look at but not to touch. How are you not going to scratch? I mean, an attempt to subdue the itch, even though you know it's going to make matters worse, especially when you're a child. Here in Saginaw, Michigan, mosquitoes have played a significant role in local history. I would encourage you to look at my video about Fort Saginaw for more information and in-depth look at the fort. But it was built in 1822 by the United States, and it was on the banks of the Saginaw River by where Court Street is now, and only about a stone's throw from where I currently live. Saginaw at that time was what seemed to be an unending swamp. It was immense and filled with mosquitoes and Native American Indians. And the mosquitoes caused a lot of problems for the men at the fort because they caused and carried disease, which in return caused extreme sickness and even death. So severe was the problem that the fort was quickly abandoned and the development of Saginaw was put off for many years. But as we look at world history, we will see that the mosquito played an even larger role in the distant past. They carry malaria, which we know is a real killer, and that has been known for a very long time. Actually, since about 500 BC, when in India, a Brahmin priest by the name of Susruta deduced that the mosquitoes were the ones that were spreading this disease. Unfortunately, for the next 2,400 years, no one paid much attention to the priest's discovery. And in Babylon, about 323 BC, Alexander the Great got bit by a mosquito and as a result died at the age of 33. His dream of a united Greek empire collapsed, and a widespread malaria infection dramatically contributed to the decline of Greek civilization. Thus, the little insect played a large role in altering history. Let's hop forward in time to 410 AD. The setting is ancient Rome, and the marauding Visigoths finished off the once mighty Roman Empire. The Romans were already undermined by a fifth column of malaria spreading mosquitoes in low-lying areas that surrounded the capital. The pesky bloodsuckers were no respecters of men because after they finished off the Romans, they turned on Alaric, leader of the Visigoths, and vanquished them also. Yet these insects can be so very treacherous indeed. In 1593 began a banner era for the mosquito, but not too good for us humans. The well-traveled mosquito of the day came to the New World bringing along as baggage yellow fever and malaria via the slave trade. And this set the stage for major epidemics that decimated the colonial and the Native American Indian populations. And they could not keep out of politics, for in 1658, the mosquito worked in favor of the British monarchy by biting Oliver Cromwell, who died of malaria, paving the way for the return of the British monarchy. But then again, in 1690, Barbados, in fact, saw the squadron of insect dive bombers spread yellow fever, which halted a British expedition en route to French Canada. Then in 1802, the mosquitoes made a meal of the citizens of New Orleans. Napoleon, yes, the guy with his hand stuffed in his shirt, sent troops to reinforce France's claim to Louisiana and put down a slave rebellion on Haiti. Of the 33,000 soldiers, 29,000 were killed by mosquito-borne yellow fever, and that's a heck of a percentage. Louisiana became a part of the United States, and Haiti became independent. Finally, in Stockholm, 1902, someone rediscovered what the Brahmin priest in India had discovered so many years before. Dr. Ronald Ross received the Nobel Prize for establishing a link between mosquito bites and malaria, but I dare say not a mention was made of the priest who had discovered this so many years before. Panama of 1905 was another prime target for the Mosquito Brigade. In fact, they were so successful that they nearly stopped the construction of the Panama Canal from being completed. Panicked workers fled a yellow fever epidemic there. And in Colorado, back in 1939, DDT was tested and found to control mosquitoes and other insects. But mosquitoes developed a resistance to the chemical, but we people never did, and it remains deadly to us today. But now let's skip to the Dutch East Indies in 1942. Japanese troops in World War II seized the islands that provided most of the world's supply of quinine, then the only reliable malaria therapy known, hoping mosquitoes would become their allies in fending off the Allied forces. Nearly 500,000 U.S. troops in the East were hospitalized with malaria between 1942 and the close of the war in 1945. In the Vietnam conflict, our fighting boys did not fare much better. Statistics show that as many as 53 U.S. soldiers per 1,000 were infected with malaria. Are you ready for this? Every single day. And the last stat that we'll look at is from 1995 and out of the World Health Organization. They declared that the mosquito-borne dengue fever to be a world epidemic, while deaths from malaria soared from 2.5 to 3 million per year. I doubt that things have gotten any better in the years from 1995 till now. In 2015, mosquitoes remain a major player in the spread of deadly diseases to us human beings. Everything God created has a purpose, and indeed a beneficial purpose. But I, with my human view of things, cannot see what purpose might be in mosquitoes, but I'm sure there is one. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this little foray into the world of mosquitoes and their adverse effect on man and upon our history, which has been significant. Please be sure to leave any comments below, and have an awesome day.